welcome back to Ormsby Farm. My name is Casey. So, processing day was a couple days ago. Now what we're doing, besides the whole ones that we have in the freezer, is we piecing out chicken today. We're gonna be making some bone broth, and we're making some chicken soup to can. So, I'm gonna be grinding on this episode. I'm just gonna piecing all of it out, show you how I do it, how we're gonna be putting it away. I'll vacuum seal some. I'm gonna do some halves, but today is piece out day. So that's what it's gonna be. I'm gonna be showing you how I piece out my chicken, how I put it in the freezer. We don't sell pieces, we just sell whole. So this is just for us here at Ormsby Farm. So let me zip it up. Let's get into the intro and get into the video.
I'm coming home.
Alrighty, y'all. So I'm gonna tilt you down, but we got a whole chicken here. What I'm doing when I'm cutting it into the pieces is I'm gonna do the wings, I'm gonna do the breast with no skin, and I'm going to do the quarter. So basically the quarter is gonna be the thigh and the leg, all as one. I'll vacuum seal those, and then I'll take the bones, whatever left over of the bones, and we'll put it up in here because we're gonna need some bone broth today. So all of the pieces will go to use. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to tilt you down and I'm going to show you how we piece out. I know there are some people that are super pros at piecing out the chicken. I'm good. I'll toot my own horn. Toot toot. I'm piecing it up. Yes, let's get into it and let's get it cut up. Alrighty, y'all. So again, not the butcher of the century, but hey, this was my first time and I tried it out. So what I'm doing here is I am hacking the wings off. I'm keeping them whole until I'm ready to kind of separate them into the drums and the flats. I'm using the same knife that I used process. Of course, it's cleaned, but I used the same knife when we were processing. I'm cutting the skin off so I can get to the breast. But now the quarters, I'm snapping the hip right there, but I am doing the quarters and keeping the skin on the quarters because it's just some good flavoring to it. So putting that to the side, you see right here, this was probably the easiest part for me, is cutting it and snapping it right there, getting it between the two bones. Now the bones is where I was hacking it up. I tried my best. It turned out a little wonky, but it's okay because it still tastes delicious. And I'm turning those breasts anyways into like fajita cuts and that kind of thing. I'm not keeping the breast completely whole. Tenders, that kind of stuff. So I'm putting the breast to the side. You see I'm doing that on both sides. And of course, this is the skinless breast. Some people actually use their shears and keep the breast on the bone. I wanted to use the bone for broth, so I wanted to cut it off the bone. So here I am, and I'm taking it off. You see I'm kind of scraping a little bit off the side. A little something, something. And I'm putting that into the pot for the broth. And now I'm going to grab another one. I think, yep, there I am. And I slowly got better and better as I was doing it, especially taking off of the skin. Got into a little swing of it. Same thing when I was on processing day. I got better and better as I started doing the 32 chickens. So here I am taking off the breast again, or the skin. I slowly got better at the wings too. Now they still are little deformed wings, but it's okay. They're going to taste just the same, tossed in some buffalo sauce. I will tell you, next time I'm going to do 1 week longer because I'd like a little bit more meat on my Cornish cross. If I do Cornish cross again. American breast, I know I'm going to do 17 weeks. But for the most part, these were good sized chickens. I was able to get a lot of dinners off of them by piecing it off. And I got a bunch of the broth. So I am happy with that. I just wish they were a little bit bigger. But, shoulda, coulda, woulda, I guess. Here, I actually got really good at the breast, figuring it out, getting it right there by the bone. I'll tell you, I super, super, super love this knife that Monica over at Bland's Promised Land Ranch recommended. She's one of my very, very dear friends, and I trust everything that she says. So when she said, Casey, this is what I use, I went and I clicked that order on the Amazon. It is also in my Amazon storefront if you want to get it. It comes with 6 disposable knives. There I am adding all the seasoning, water, and onion to the broths. and I'm gonna let that boil for a while. We also did a whole chicken in some chicken soup to can. So that was really good right until my camera died. So, wah, wah, wah. So I wanted to show that we did some breast, some chicken breasts. I pieced out one whole chicken for Brother Chris and Sis Tara. And we did some half chicken. And then I'm going to show you right here in an overlay. We did quarters and we did breasts. I didn't get many of those because it's not very good at getting the breast off yet. So when I tooted my own horn, I should have probably untoot, if you know what I mean. I also did the wings, but I'm flash freezing the wings, and I'll show it an overlay right here, just so they don't stick together when I put them in a bag. So now let's get back to everything. Alrighty, y'all. So it's the next day. So basically, what I did after I kind of let the bone broth sit on high, and then I turned it to like a medium high, and let it really just boil until late at night. It was pretty much like 9:30, 10 when I took it off. And I separated all of the meat and onions and stuff and the bones that were in there and put it in the fridge to cool off. And then I put the broth, in that right there. So I have brought that back up to a boil. I turned it on low right now. But what we're going to do is we're going to can that up. And I'll show you with an overlay here. I'm putting it in some quart jars, and then we're gonna pressure can it. But what I'm gonna do with this is I'm gonna pull off any chicken that is still on the bone, because y'all know my butcher skills was not the best. And then I'm gonna can that up with some remainder of the broth for like chicken soup and that kind of stuff. Because I had some chicken noodle soup last night that was so good from all of this. So let me go ahead and zip it up and get all of this done, and we'll come back once we have all of it done to wrap up this video. Alrighty, y'all, I got my little setup going. I have two different types of jars, a wide mouth and a regular mouth. Again, I'm using my 4-jar funnels. I use them all the time, as you can see. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna fill it up to about a 1/2 inch headspace. It's normally what I do for my broths. And this may take forever because my measuring cup is in the wash right now, if you could hear my dishwasher going. And so I'm gonna have to do it by this. So I'm gonna have to fast forward this real fast. But again, I brought this back up to a boil. This is the broth. We're gonna see how many it makes. And then we'll get back and we're gonna put on our 4-jar lids, rings, and put it in the electric pressure canner. So here we go. Alrighty, because I left some of the fat still in the broth, we're gonna go ahead and wipe the edges with distilled vinegar, just to make sure that there is no greasiness that will prohibit the seal, and to also make sure there are no cracks that will prohibit the seal. So all I'm doing is just wipe it around, make sure it's all nice and clean. And this is where you would want to use store-bought vinegar and not necessarily your homemade vinegar, only because of the acidity level. You want to make sure that it's all nice and up to code. So that batch made about 7 quarts of this golden gold, the bone broth, and it's going to be great over the winter with to make soups or rice or anything that calls for a broth base. We use this for, so chilies, all of that. So now what I'm going to do, y'all, I am almost out of my 4-jar lids. Can you believe it? Let me make sure that you can see it on here. Got focus in my 4 jars. Y'all know I love my 4-jar lids. If you go down to my Linktree, you can go ahead and get my affiliate code and get you some 10% off of 4 jars and stock up for the canning soup season. So let me go ahead and get all these on with some rings, put them in the canner, and then we'll come back. Alrighty, y'all, so what I'm gonna do first is I'm gonna go ahead and put a glug of the white vinegar, maybe a little bit more, into my pressure canner. I do this because of the hardness of my water. I have well water, so I wanna make sure that no film is left on the jars. And now I'm gonna put the jars in here, and then I'm gonna put in about 3 quarts of water, and then we'll turn it on. All right, now the water and everything's in. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna close, making sure that it's venting. And then we're going to press high for 25 minutes. Press start. Now, like I said, on my videos, it's gonna do this little twirly thing for a couple minutes. It's gonna come to E10. That's when, just like for a regular pressure canner, letting it vent for 10 minutes. Once it goes to E0, we're going to flip that seal. It will do this little twirly again, and then the 25 minutes will pop up, and then we're gonna let it cook and then come down to where when we release it, no pressure comes out of it. Usually that's about 30 minutes. And then we're going to dump the water and do it again, and I'll show you after I do all of that. But now we're just gonna be waiting. Just pulled these out of the freezer, so I've flash froze our chicken wings so I can put it into bags so that way they don't stick together and you can grab out how many you want. So the chicken wings are done. I've gotten the chicken that was pulled off of the bones from the broth in here. And what I'm gonna do with these little broth cubes that I made last year, these are from last year, is I'm gonna heat it up and then I'm gonna put that over it. And this is gonna be a chicken noodle soup base. I won't put the noodles in it, but I will put the broth in it to have it ready. And as I'm saying that, look, the E10, like I told y'all, so now we're gonna get to E0. All right, back to putting all this away. Yeah, it is just that easy. So this was the cubes. I used all 4 of them because it's a quart, they were in 1 cup. So I'm letting it kind of boil for a minute, and then we're going to bloop, put it right in on that. There we go. So now I have the broth and the chicken. This is a chicken noodle soup starter. I will do it with my these are the other 3 that didn't fit in the first time. So all 4 of these jars will go into the electric pressure canner when that's done. But because this has chicken in it, I'm gonna do everything for 90 minutes. So the funny thing is these jars already have been popping, but we're not gonna believe that until we get the 90 minutes of it processing. So because I'm adding this in there, all of this will be canned for 90 minutes. It's not gonna hurt the broth, it's just gonna be canned longer. Whoop, whoop. Alrighty, y'all, now that everything is out and sitting there to rest for 24 hours, and I have the stuff in the freezer, I thank all of y'all for coming on this journey with me. This is kind of like the final of the Cornish cross. This was basically what I got. Besides, I got a bunch of, I'll leave a photo here of what's in our meat freezer that we're selling. And then I'll show a picture here of everything, which would be the thumbnail, of all that we got, the ones that we kept. We're giving a good amount to family as well, so we're really blessed to be able to do that. But thank you guys for joining me on this journey. If you enjoyed all of this, I hope you are subscribed to the channel. And go ahead and press that bell button so you know that anytime that new content drops to the channel. You can follow me on social media at Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and Twitter. All of them at Ormsby Farm. And I will see y'all on the next video. Bye. Be blessed.
I'm coming